natural. She just needs to get the years in there.
She also told me one day she'd like to be Bowler of the Year for the professionals.
Well, right now she's right up there. Second in earnings behind Tammy Turner. And I mentioned before, first in point ranking. Michelle Mullen fails to double. Still trails Wendy. Michelle really enjoys writing. I know she's been writing for Bowling Magazine and also a paper down south, Bowling News, lately. I asked her about that because I said, hey, Michelle, you still writing? She said, yeah, she got a couple of Bowling magazines. Not convert the spare.
And that is the amount of conditioner in the middle of that lane on lane 2. It's not how she's releasing the ball. She's making a good release. There's just so much conditioner that the ball is sliding.
Disaster has struck Michelle once again now in the 6th frame.
This condition probably seems more challenging because of the higher scoring they just came off of. It's Wendy working on her thumb hole, adding some tape, trying to get a good feel.
Well, she takes 2 for count. Lane's a puzzle for Michelle Mullen. Will she be able to figure him out? We'll have the rest of the semifinal match when we come back. We're back now in the 9th frame. Wendy is leading by 17 pins. And the first strike for Wendy. Jan, she had the lead up to 31 pins, but then disaster struck. She left the 2-4-7, was unable to convert it. Right now, Michelle can only shoot 182. She would force Wendy to strike in the 10th. So there's still life for Michelle Mullen.
She has to try to find something. She sent it way right.
Has only struck once this game. That was in the 4th frame. You know, we talked about how important spares were earlier and how Kathy Dorn had really been working on it. Well, this game really proves it. Wendy Papanos has thrown the first 7 frames were all spares. She split in the 8th and struck in the 9th, but Michelle Mullen has left a couple of splits.
On this type of condition, that's what you need to do. Just shoot your spares, stay clean. This is something the professionals face from week in, week out, day to day sometimes. It's such a change in conditions. They have to be able to bowl on challenging conditions, keep the ball in play, shoot their spares. At the same time, they have to be able to open up the lane and create some area and throw some strikes when the condition warrants.
Right now, best possible score for Michelle would be 170. She would force Wendy to mark. Well, there's one. Crowd appreciative of that strike. Well, you mentioned that this probably seems even a little bit harder because they had a lot of area throughout the past few days. I mean, your arm swing gets a little loose and you get a little bit to where you're sending it right and you can trust in here. All of a sudden you can't do that, or...
You do. You get used to having a little room. These players average 230 and 240, and it wasn't on tough conditions. I mean, you have to have a little bit of room in order to be able to do that, even at the professional level.
Not make it back. You know, sometimes I remember it takes me a day or two just to get your arm swing back in line for the next condition.
And it does. You're right, exactly. Well, and this is probably the opposite end of the spectrum. It looks like they really don't have any room at all out there now.
Leaving the washout. Still shot in the 10th frame, converts it anyway, ends up shooting 160. Just going to have to stay behind the line, get a couple pins. And she will now advance to meet our top seed, Marianne Drupo. Jan, this has to give Marianne a little confidence, though. That, hey, the scores are low.
I would think so, right, because she can throw hard. She can stay real direct at the pocket.
Well, easier than seeing someone totally lined up and thinking, oh my gosh, I have to try to beat her, and she's already knows where she's playing and what she's doing. It appears Wendy is, struggling as well as the other players. She's just converting spares and really not getting into a lot of split trouble.
You're right. Well, Marianne knows it's probably going to be tough out there. She knows exactly she's not coming up against a buzzsaw.
Wendy Macpherson Papanos finishes out with 185. It's more than enough to advance to meet Marianne Drupo right after these messages. Papanos.